Yeah, welcome to today's class. Today we want to look at while loop variations. Now, the last class we did while loop, right? And we know I told you we have while loop, for loop, do while loop, and then nested loops. Now, the last class we did the standard while loop. Now I'm going to show you the different variations. There are many, but I'm just going to look at maybe probably two or three in this class, just to show you the different variation. So what are the component parts of a loop? One, we have um, initialization, right? Two, we have condition, and three, we have update, which can be increment or decrement. We can either have this. So for this initialization, we have something like, you can say A, say we declare a variable A in the integer realm and we assign maybe 0 to it. For this condition, we can say A less than 5. And then for this update, we can say A plus plus or minus minus, right? Those are the component parts of a while loop. So I'm just going to write the standard while loop like we did in the last class, and then I will now alter it. So I can say, I can declare a variable int A, which is what I did, and I will assign 0 to it. Then I will say while, inside the parentheses, I will now put my condition A less than 5. Then I will do this. Then inside it, I will now say print F. I'll put my format specifier D / N. This is new line. And then I will say A. So that is a statement. And then I will say A plus plus. This is another statement. Curly bracket, I will put it here. So this is a standard while loop. I have declared the variable and I've assigned a value to it, which is the first one, initialization. I assign 0 to it. I will test my condition. 0 is less than 5. That is true. I will go in and I will print out A, which is what? So here I am having a box like this, which is A. So I will assign 0 to this A, which is what we have here. 0 is less than 5. You go in and print out A, which is what I print out on the screen. Then I will increment A. So increment A by 1. I will change A to 1. Then I will test again. Now, this initialization was done one time. Then the increment is inside the loop, and the condition is inside the loop. So I'm not coming out here again. So I've gone in. So I will test again. 1 is less than 5. That is true. I will go in and print out 1. Because of this new line /n, I'm not going to do it like this, right? It's not like this. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. That will be my output because A is less than 4, right? If I don't put this, the output will be what? Horizontal. But because I put this /n, it's going to print it out this way. Now, that is one variation. All right. So what if I want to just declare this variable without initializing it? I want to initialize it inside. So I come here, I'll come here, and then I will say A. I will assign 0 to it, comma. Then I will say A less than 5. Then I will close it. So what will be the output of this loop? If you know the answer, please put it in the comment section. Now, if you look at this loop is going to be an infinite loop. That is infinite loop. It's never going to end. And the output will always be what? 0. Why? I have declared my variable A, which is this. Then I come inside the loop. I'm initializing it inside the loop. So I assign 0 to A. So this place becomes 0. Now I test my condition. 0 is less than 5. I will go in and I will print out 0 on the screen. Then I will increment A. So I will increment this place 1. Then I come in. Inside this loop, which is this parenthesis, I am reassigning 0 back again to A. So this place will become 0 again. Then I'm testing the condition, and the condition is true. Then I go in and I will print out 0 again. Then I will increment A. So I will change this place again to 1. It's going to continue like this forever. It is never going to end. So doing this will not give you a good form, except you want to create an infinite loop, right? So that is another thing. Then I can come here, I can initialize like this, right? Assign 0, yeah? I can do this, plus plus A, comma. Then I'll say A less than 5. Then I'll put this. At that point, I won't need this here again. So this is another form, another variation. So what would this one do? I will assign this place, I'm initializing it as 0. Now I have a pre-increment. So this operator is coming before the A variable. So what this will do is, before it will test the condition, first and foremost, it will increment A to 1. That is why you're having this pre. So it will increment A to 1. So it's testing 1 less than 5. It's no longer 0. It's now 1. 1 less than 5, that is true. It will go in and print out 1. It will print out 1. Then it will come back again. It will increment A. So this place will become 2. Then it will test. 2 less than 5, that is true. It will go in and it will print out 2. It will repeat for 3. It will print out 3. It will repeat for 4. It will print out 4. Right? So when it increments it to 5, then it will test. 5 less than 5, that is no longer true. It will come out. That is another variation. Now, what if I do this? I change this to A plus plus. What will be the output on the screen? Now, if you look at this, A is what? 0. So this place is what? 0. But it is not going to increment A before testing the condition. A is 0. It's going to test the condition with this value of A, which is what? 0. 0 is less than 5. That is true. But before it will go into this curly bracket to this printf, it will increment A to 1. So this place will become 1. Then it will go in and it will say printf. When it check for this A, it's already 1. It will print out 1. Then it will come back here. It will test A. This one is post increment. A is still 1. It will test it with this. A is less than 5. That is 1 is less than 5. But before it will go in, it will increment this place to 2. And that will still keep print out 1, 2, 3, 4. It will still give us the same output. Right? It will still give us the same output. That is another variation. So you have to be very careful how you interpret this increment. Now, let me give you one more variation before I go to code block to practically show you. What if I want to do decrement? I want it to give me an output as 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right? This is decrement. So how am I going to write it? This is my initialization. I will change the value to 5. Right? And then this place, I will write this one to A greater than 0. Right? And then here I will do A minus minus. So that will give me 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How? The initial value is 5. While A is greater than 0, yes, 5 is greater than 0, it will go in and it will print out the value of A, which is 5. Then it will decrease A. So this place will become 4. Then it will come back to this, it will test it. 4 is greater than 0, it will go in and it will print out 4. Right? Then it will decrement and there will become 3. It will repeat the same step until it will reduce this one to 0. So A is greater than 0. At that point, A is now 0. So A is not greater than 0. It will come out of the loop. So it has printed out 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That is what this will give you. So this is another variation. You can create as many variations as possible, depending on what you are trying to achieve as a developer. So that is just what I want to show you in this class, that you can have different variations of the while loop, but you have to be very conscious of this initialization, the condition, and the update, what you are trying to achieve. That will help you determine what your output will be. So let's go to code blocks and let me demonstrate this for you to see. This is our code blocks, and this is our script for the while loop variation. So this is the first one that we have written, which is the normal standard while loop. You initialize a variable, and then the condition is inside the while loop, and then the increment is inside the block of statement. So you're going to print out A, and then you're going to increase the value of A, and then you're going to test the condition again. So initialization is done once. This is the standard. So you're just going to execute this and see the output. So when we execute this, it's going to give us 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So that is one variation. Now, what if I remove this and then I initialize inside A, assign 0 to it, and then you call the comma operator. So this comma operator is going to work on this guy first and then work on this guy. So the first thing it will do is initialize the value of A by assigning A to it. And then it will test the condition. A is less than 5. It will go in and print A, which is what? 0. It will increment A to 1. Then it will come back here. This command operator will really assign this 0 back to A again. So this one I told you is going to give you an infinite loop. So let's execute this and see what will happen. When we execute it, it will be an infinite loop. See? An infinite loop. Look at this place. See? It's going down. So it will just keep printing. It will just keep printing. If you take this back up, it will come back down again. So this is an infinite loop. It's just going to keep running. It's never going to stop. Right? Until either I press Ctrl C or I click and then close it. So it throws an error because I interrupted the flow of the infinite loop. But that is it. It's going to give you an infinite loop, and I've explained that on the board. So the next thing I did was to remove this, change the variation, increment it, then I'm just going to comment this out. So now I'm going to reinitialize this back to 0. So what will be the output? This will give me the same output as the previous one. So if I execute this, see, it's giving me 1, 2, 3, 4. Why? First, it will increment A, right, before it will test the condition. So it has increment A to 1. Then to test the condition, 1 is less than 5. That is true. It will go in and print out the value. So it's going to print out 1 as the value, not 0. The other one started from 0 up to what? 4. But this one started from 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Now I'm going to remove that, and then I'll do post increment. So let's execute this and see what the output will be. So it's giving me the same value, which is 1 to 4. Whereas the other one, where you had the increment out here, gave us 0 to 4. This one is giving us 1 to 4. And I've explained that to you on the screen, that this comma operator is doing two things. The comma operator will act on this one first, then before this one. So that is why it's giving you the output on the screen. So we can also have as many other variations as possible. But for the sake of this class not to be too long, I am going to stop here, just demonstrating those 2 or 3 variations for you to see in while loop. So the next class now will be on for loop. So to see in the next class. Bye-bye.